This is Anya Wasaka. She is the founder, CEO, and only full-time employee of Rooted, a mobile app that helps people with anxiety and panic attacks. She has built a business to over 2 million users and 7 figures in yearly recurring revenue. So in this one, I thought it'd be cool to react to this really interesting self-employed solopreneur business that I found. Listen to some clips from the founder here, Anya, and see how she built up this business, basically the old background of the story and how she's built it up to be so successful. I thought it was super interesting and I learned a ton of stuff, so I'm going to go over some of the key points in this video. Hopefully you guys can learn some stuff and enjoy a pretty cool business and entrepreneur story here. So let's get into it. I'm on the website right here. Essentially what it is, panic attack and anxiety relief in your pocket, right on your phone. I've downloaded the app. I'll put up a screenshot here of the free version. They have a bunch of different things that you could do. You can see you can learn about panic attacks and anxiety relief. They even have some meditations that you can go through and the breathe exercises for free. They even have a journaling function here where you can actually click on a day and then start tracking your anxiety in a journal format, which would be helpful. And then a sleep helper here, and a bunch of different other things in the visualize tab, the free and paid things under the visualization. Then you can even track your full stats. And then this big red button down at the bottom is, I believe from listening to interviews with her, is where people can click on that when they're actually having a panic attack, and it kind of walks you through steps to try to mitigate that. Definitely a really cool app. I know from watching interviews with her, she suffered from panic attacks and anxiety and still has it. I'm guessing it's kind of that thing that never really truly goes away, but this definitely can help, it seems like. So a cool story and an awesome product to start. So now let's hear a little bit about how she got started and made this app, and we can react to this.
What did V1 look like?
The process looked a lot like me drawing in my notebooks and trying to figure out how to wireframe an app, essentially. I went to an agency and I told them what I wanted to do. They were fully behind it, but I couldn't afford what they actually quoted me. So I realized that I had to just do a lot more of it myself. I'm a non-technical founder, so I had to also find a developer, like a contract developer. And yeah, it looked a lot like wireframing. I used Photoshop to do the designs, which, like, you know, I don't think people would do now. You would probably use Illustrator, other Figma, you know, but it worked for me at the time. It was pretty scrappy, but the MVP itself was the Rooter button, so that SOS button I told you about, and the lessons. So it didn't include the other tools.
And then how long upon launching it did you realize that you might have something here?
Really pretty quick. It was pretty cool, and thinking that, you know, when I launched it, I thought, if it could help one or two other people, that would be really cool, because I've been suffering for years. Within just a couple months, people were leaving feedback saying like, wow, I've tried so many different tools and nothing helped me in the moment like Rooted did.
So it's pretty crazy and impressive to start an app from scratch as a non-technical founder. You know, you got to have a lot of capital up front to build even a MVP of an app like she was describing, with that red button on there and the lessons available. I guess the other 5 of these squares weren't actually available yet, and those came later. But still, to start that and then basically just charge nothing up front. I think later on she added the paid version, which we can get into here. But overall, you know, I don't think a lot of people really talked about panic attacks and anxiety. She kind of just brought it to market without really any other products like it to help herself and then to help other people. First off, she definitely had a great idea, and then she just went out and did it. You know, how many people would probably had that idea and just didn't go out and try to even make an app happen, especially when they don't know much about making an app? But she did some basic wireframing stuff in there. So interesting start to her business here.
What other growth tactics have kind of worked in the app game? Are you running Facebook ads?
I'm not currently, no. It's like 95% organic right now. So it's
so
really
cool.
A lot of focus on App Store optimization. Rooted ranks #1 for panic attacks, and then it's either #2 or 3 for anxiety, like depending on the day. So that's a big part of it. I think one thing there to note is that I focus on panic attacks, even though it was a way lower search volume keyword than anxiety. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of interesting because when you're a founder and you know your thing works, you do want to use like the most active keyword, right? Because you're like, this is for anxiety.
So again, pretty crazy. 95% of their traffic is organic, and I'm guessing that's from searching on the app, mostly for those two keywords that she noted. But a huge emphasis for her was on SEO in the App Store, updating titles, product descriptions, features, FAQs, things like that. I'm guessing all help with SEO. Basically similar to blog posts or, listings on Etsy, things like that. I'm sure all of that is similar to what they do in the App Store to make things work like this. But also interesting to focus on more centralized keywords, like she said, not focus on the broader keywords. Really focus on being number one in some smaller, more niche keywords that actually might even be better for her business. So I think that was pretty interesting as well from that clip.
It took me a while, but it wasn't until March 2021 that I did a simple hack that increased revenue by 6 times. And it was just to move the free trial page to the beginning of the onboarding. That's it.
From where?
From like just being in the app.
So pretty crazy. Just one little hack increased their revenue by 6x by just putting the free trial right up at the front instead of kind of hiding it and making users, actively go find it. Just right when you download the app, one of the first things, if not the first thing you see, is just sign up for that free trial. And honestly, I would have done the free trial, but one thing about these kind of free trials is when you sign up, you got to basically put in your payment information, and if you don't cancel within 7 days, they just automatically charge you. So actually something similar I do with my online community business is we have a free trial, but you got to put in payment info, and at the end of the free trial, it's just going to kick in for your monthly plan. Sometimes I kind of feel like a little slimy about that, but I guess people know what they're getting into if they're putting their payment info in there and it tells them they have to cancel within the free trial period. But it seems like getting people on the free trial first definitely paid great dividends instead of just trying to get people to pay up front, or if people knew they wanted to pay, then they would do the free trial and then pay. So it seems like just getting as many people as possible on the free trial was successful, which definitely makes sense.
So basically it took like 3 years to get to 1 million, and then it took 1 year to get to 2 million, and now it's at like 2,150,000. So I think that within a year, and I measured that from October because that was like the launch, and then it's weird. It like is also my birthday, and then the big things happen around my birthday. It's like a weird thing. But I think that by next October, it would be at over 3 million.
So this podcast interview I'm actually listening to was over a year ago. So they might be at 3 million users now, which is insane. But that does include a heavy amount of just free users because they do have a lot of free stuff you can do in there. I've also heard that the revenue is well into the 7 figures now for this business. And the crazy thing about this business is that she is the only full-time employee, works obviously with some software engineers and things like that, but no ads either. They just have a great product and rank really high on the App Store. So, back like 10, maybe even 15, 20 years ago now, all the hype was about starting the next big app, and it's still definitely doable if you have a good idea like she had. So I think this was an awesome interview. I'll link down the full interview here if you want to watch, but she's absolutely crushing it with this business. And they're helping a lot of people out, obviously, by some of the stories she told in that podcast. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, just breaking down a business here started by one person, kind of a solo entrepreneurship, and a self-employed person who's absolutely crushing it. So I thought it was really cool to make a video on. So hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, check out some more videos on the channel and subscribe, and we'll see you in another one.